That's the RBI Governor Sanjay Malhotra. Latha is here with her take on the RBI's policy. Latha, so that 25 basis point cut coming in and the additional 1 year or perhaps even longer reprieve on the LCR as well as project financing norms.
Actually, I would say the policy clearly gets an A+, or whatever you want to call it, AAA+. And it's not just my opinion, that's the broad swathe of opinion. Primarily for its appropriateness. You know, 25 basis was what the market expected, and the policy stopped over there, didn't try to be exuberant, especially in the way in which they handled liquidity. The policy said, both in the statement and the governor in his Q&A, said that we proactively will promise as much liquidity as required. He didn't say that I assure you surplus liquidity all the time. Anything extra can be used to short the rupee. So I think the appropriateness was very important. One, because the rupee is a little wobbly, and also because there is a lot of uncertainty. We don't know how things might go in terms of tariffs and make, items expensive. The best tribute to the policy came from the rupee. Normally, when you cut rates, the rupee falls. The rupee rose today. It is ending higher than where it ended yesterday. So that itself is a tribute that, the RBI went only as far as expected. The bond yields didn't move at all, actually. The 10-year bond yield remained at 6.69, 6.7, because that much of a cut was factored in. The important point is, as you pointed out, the postponement of those three regulatory measures, LCR, liquidity coverage ratio, expected credit loss accounting system, and higher provisioning for infrastructure, it was expected that they would defer. You don't have structural reforms, however robust, when there is a wartime. And, the way the rupee and the way the tariff war has kind of gotten sparked off, you don't try to do extraordinary things at such times. It was always expected. But the grace with which it was done should be appreciated. While the governor did say that, there is a cost involved in regulation in terms of efficiency, he quickly said that the Reserve Bank does take into account the cost. I'm only stating it up front. So there was a lot of grace that he extended to the Reserve Bank. And a takeaway for all of us, the creation of that bank.in domain name that will be attached to all messages from any bank. So it's like State Bank of India at bank.in. If you get messages from that, only that is not a fraud. Now, that is a very good innovation, I think, among the non-policy statements. And, well, it's coming from a computer engineer governor, so maybe he gets some brownie points for that. I also like the way in which he defended the flexible inflation targeting. It came out of nowhere. No governor does that because we take the flexible inflation target framework for granted, but probably because he's coming from the finance ministry and previous economic survey had said that maybe the target should exclude food, probably wanted to just remove all doubts, and saying upfront that it is a commendable job was, I think, a very generous and important statement to make, appropriate statement to make, confidence-generating statement. So all told, I would think the governor, by the way in which he quoted the weights of several items in the CPI, the jargon that he used, like, for instance, when he was asked about the rupee, from Bimal Jalan onwards, what do the governors say when you are asked about the rupee? The Reserve Bank intervenes to smooth out volatility. We have no target for the rupee. Repeated that sentence verbatim. So I think really mastered the skill in a very short time.
All right, Latha. Many thanks for joining us. That's the first policy being delivered under the watch of the new RBI Governor Sanjay Malhotra. Now,